Okay, we are learning for the Sikha on base it's called on base 7. The title is base 7. Look with the Sikha is Chelik Lamed Ches. Rebbe starts off like this. Kosavat Morazokim Shulchan Aruch Shleit. The Alter Rebbe writes in his Shulchan Aruch, B'dini Chag HaShavuos Shebesod Hilchos Pesach, and the dinim of Shavuos, which are written in the end of Hilchos Pesach. He writes like this. The meaning of these countries is not to be able to fast and not to say Tachnun from Rosh Chodesh Sivan till the 8th day of Sivan, including the 8th day of Sivan, the Hainu ad Achar Mitzvah Yontev Hanikra Yisrachag, till after Mitzvah Yontev, which means after Yontev. Yontev is Vov and Zayin, Ches is Yisrachag, so till after Yisrachag we don't say Tachnun. Because right after Rosh Chodesh, he's Chil Moshe Lisasek Imoin Binyan Kabbalah Satera. From after Rosh Chodesh, Moshe started getting involved with the Yidden concerning Kabbalah Satera, receiving the Torah. And the Alter Rebbe makes the cheshbon. Shebesheni b'Shabbos hoy Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh Sivan was Monday. And actually, how do we know it? It's according to the Rabbanon. How do we know it? Because we know the Torah was given on Shabbos. According to the Rabbanon, the Torah was given on Vov. So Shabbos was Vov. So when was Aleph? Aleph must have been Monday. So Rosh Chodesh, which is Monday, was Rosh Chodesh. Shlishi b'Shabbos on Tuesday. Omer lev atem ti'ilam alechas ke'ani v'geimer. That's what the Eibusha said to the Yidden. Told Moshe to tell the Yidden atem ti'ilam alechas ke'anim v'geimer, etc. And that's a special day. That's called till now. It's called Yom HaMiyuches. This special day, that's when the Eibusha said this. You are going to be to me a kingdom of Keanim and the holy nation. Ubrevi, on Wednesday, Omer lehem mitzvahs hagbola. That's when he told them the mitzvah that they have to surround the mountain and limit the mountain, that no one should be able to walk onto the mountain. Hishamru lachem aleis behor. Be careful not to go up the mountain. V'chamishi, and on Thursday, Omer lehem mitzvahs prisha. He said to them the mitzvah separation. Sheyifreshu min shesayim hayem hamochar. That day, which is Thursday and Friday, they should separate from their wives, and they should they should be ready for the third day, Shahu Shabbos, which was Shabbos, Shabbat Nitan Torah, that's when the Torah was given. But the emphasis, the Alter Rebbe here, as we said, Paskins, that we don't say Tachnun, and it's like a Yontiv, that's why you're not allowed to fast, till the 8th day. The Peil and Siddur, the Alter Rebbe Paskins is a little bit different. It's not negated to the Sikha. In the Siddur, Paskins that we don't say Tachnun through Yud Beis, through 12th of Sivan. Okay. Moker Advorim, the source of what the Alter Rebbe says in the Hagos HaRamo, that the Ramo in the Hagos in Shulchan Aruch, Shekosa the Ramo writes like this. We don't say Tachnun from the beginning of Rosh Chodesh Sivan until the 8th day. The Hainu Achar Yisrachag, till after Yisrachag. Yisrachag is Ches, till after that. And the Mogen Avraham was the one that explains the reason. What was the reason for the Ramo to say that from Rosh Chodesh Sivan we don't say Tachnun? Mela, we don't say Erev Yontev, 2 days of Yontev. We don't say Yisrachag. What's the days before from Rosh Chodesh Sivan? So the Mogen Avraham says the Miyad beBei Sivan Omer leMoshe lekatchem leTorah, because right away on the 2nd day of Sivan, Moshe said already to make the Yidden holy towards Matan Torah. Kedeisa Perek Ches the Shabbos, like it says in the 8th Perek of Shabbos. And the Rebbe says really it's supposed to be the 9th Perek of Shabbos. Okay. Umamshich, and the Mogen Avraham continues. Kosov Hagos Maimoni Sof Yom Kippurim. The Hagos Maimoni writes in the end of the halachas of Yom Kippur. Gimel Yomim Kedem Shavuos Emisani. That 3 days before Shavuos we're not allowed to fast, which means it's like a Yontev. The Hava Yemei Hagbola, because these are the 3 days of Hagbola. When did Eibusha say the mitzvah of Hagbola? He said on Wednesday that from now on, for the next 3 days, the mountain has to be surrounded till Shavuos, till Matan Torah. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So these last 3 days were the days of Hagbola. Mashmed the B'Sheni B'Sivim Mutar Lisanis. Comes out like this. According to the Gos Maimoni, that the reason you can't fast days before Shavuos is because of the 3 days of Hagbola. But what about the day before that? Beis Sivan? It doesn't mention. Obviously, you're allowed to. But the meaning of the world is that Mogen Avraham writes that we don't fast already from Beis. Rosh Chodesh automatically we don't fast. Beis also the meaning is don't fast. And then Dalet, Gimel, Dalet, hey, the 3rd day of Sivan, the 4th and the 5th, the reason we don't say Tachna, we can't fast, because they're the days of Hagbola. The Tam Shekasafti Lil, from the reason I said before. So it comes out from here that the reason we don't fast from Rosh Chodesh is Rosh Chodesh, Beis is Beis, and Gimel, Dalet, Hey is because of Hagbola. If he's at Tzarech Tzas, so we have to understand, Loma Porat Admur Azokn HaMeirois Vadiburim Yem Revi Yem Chamishi. If you look at the Alter Rebbe writes a little different. He writes that what happened on Wednesday, what happened on Thursday. Wednesday was the mitzvah of Prisha, and so was the on Thursday was the mitzvah of Prisha. No, at Wednesday he said, let's go back. He said, Berevi, Chamisha, and Thursday he said mitzvah Prisha, which is the 5th day of Sivan. And the next day was also Prisha. So the Alter Rebbe says, why don't we fast, or why don't we say Tachnun on these days, is because of the reasons that he said. Because there's the mitzvah of Prisha, the mitzvah that they have to separate. And it's not enough, it doesn't follow what the Magen Avraham says. The Magen Avraham says the reason we don't fast, we don't say Tachnun 3 days before Shavuos, because they're all 3 days of Hagbolah. The Eibush said 3 days before, be Makbil the mountain, surround the mountain, today, that day, and the next day. So all these 3 days is Hagbolah. And the Alter Rebbe says other reasons. 1 day is because of Hagbolah, the next day is 2 days because of Prisha. The previous Siman, the Alter Rebbe himself writes, the fact that you're allowed to take a haircut and you're allowed to get married, he writes, that you're allowed to take a haircut and get married in the 3 days of Hagbolah without specifying the other reasons. So we see the Alter Rebbe also holds that the 3 days before Shavuos, why are they special? Because these are 3 days when the Eibishter wanted the mountain to be separated. So why, when it comes to tell us the dinim of not saying Tachnun, he says the day of Hagbolah, but then he says another reason the next day. He says the other day was the mitzvah of Prisha, that day and the next day. So he adds that 2 days before Shavuos is 2 days, and 1 day before Shavuos is because of Prisha. The day before that because of Hagbolah. While the Magen Avraham says all 3 days are because the Hagbolah took place these 3 days. Now you might say that the Alter Rebbe is interested. Taka, these are 3 days of Hagbolah, but he tries to go into more details of what else happened in these days. So but you have to know, why does he go at length to explain? Why does he go into tell us every day what happened? What he said to them on Wednesday, when he said on Thursday. Why does he do that? If the main thing is Hagbolah, so why didn't he say just Hagbolah? The Eze is also Shemash Mektsas. From the Alter Rebbe comes out that the reason we don't say Tachnun ain't a mipnei etzem mitzvah Hagbolah mitzvah sprish al bnei Yisrael. It's another nekude in the Loshen. It's not because that day there was a mitzvah of Hagbolah. The next day was a mitzvah of Prisha. El mipnei amiras Moshe mitzvah seila b'yom ha'meila. It's because Moshe told them these days. On this day, he told them, Wednesday, he told them mitzvah Hagbolah. That's the Alter Rebbe uses the Loshen. If you look back, he says that on this day he told, he told them mitzvah Hagbolah. On Chamishi, on Thursday, he told them the mitzvah Prisha. What's the day he told them? It's not because he told them, you would think it's because that's what the day, a special thing happened already. But the Alter Rebbe doesn't say that. It's mashman that it's not because the real mitzvah, the Eden had a certain mitzvah. And because Moshe said these days. And it follows what the Alter Rebbe said in the beginning, that from the second day, Moshe started discussing with them and involved in Kabbalah Satira. Is mashme that it's because what Moshe was doing, it's not because of the etzem thing that happened on that day. The Rebbe will explain later what it is. So you have a shy, that's a kasha like. The kasha is, why does he specify the things that happened later when you could have stuck to, like the Magen Avraham, that there are 3 days of Hagbolah and we don't say Tachna for that, but he adds things. And also, why does he make it so it sounds that it's because Moshe told him, not because of the etzem. Even though this style of writing is written, that's the Loshen in the Gemara. The Gemara says like this, the Shabbos. B'trei b'shva, which means the second day of the week, which is Monday, Ikvi Yarche was Rosh Chodesh. B'tlose, the third day of the month, Omar Lahu, Moshe told Eden, V'atem tiyuli. Barbo, the fourth day of the month, Omar Lu Mitzvah Hagbolah, he told him Hagbolah. V'hei Ovid Prisha, on Thursday he told him to separate from the wives. So we see in the Gemara, this is the Gemara's Lashon. So what's the Kasha and the Alter Rebbe? The Alter Rebbe just follows the Lashon of the Gemara. In both things, side the Gemara specifies everything and every day that happened. Also, the Gemara uses a Lashon Moshe Rabbeinu told him. That's why the Alter Rebbe uses the same Lashon. But the Rebbe says it's not enough. In Gemara, why does the Gemara bring this? Because there's a machlekes between Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanon. When was Rosh Chodesh? And just to make the clarity of the inyan, the Gemara says like this. Everybody agrees. Kula alma meide. Everyone agrees that b'Shabbos mitna Torah, that Matan Torah was Shabbos. Nevertheless, there's a machlekes. The Chachamim hold it was the 6th day of Sivan, and Rabbi Yossi holds it was the 7th day of Sivan. But everyone holds it's Shabbos. Now, according to the Rabbanon, that the 6th day of Sivan was Shabbos. So when was the first day? The first day was Monday. According to Rabbi Yossi, that the 7th day was Shabbos. So when was Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh was Sunday. So when the Gemara discusses their machlokes, there the Gemara goes into the cheshbon according to each one. What was the cheshbon? What happened on Monday? Or what happened on Sunday? According to Rabbi Yossi, what happened on Rabbanan Monday, Tuesday? Therefore, there has to be, the Gemara has to tell us the difference. What Hashem told the Eden or Moshe every day. Because according to Rabbi Yossi, Rabbanan is different. So the Gemara goes into it. But Lagabo the Alter Rebbe brings it for one reason. To give us a reason why we don't say Tachnon, you can't fast these days. The Chura Maspik Lamer Bay from Kloli. He could have said it would be enough. He would say it generally. These last 3 days before Shavuos, which is Gimel Dalet Hey, are the 3 days called, as we know, Shleishos Me'akbola. Shabam Nasr Al Sahar. That's the days they're not allowed to go up the mountain. When it's Tavalif, you should separate. But he could have said it just one general word. It's not the gay, exactly the details that on that day he told him just not to go up. The other day he told him stay away from your wives. It's all one Nakuda. Why didn't he? In other words, why did he change from what the Magen Avraham does? But Yuvan said, because I explained this by bringing another difference between the Lashon of the Alter Rebbe and the Lashon of the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham Kosav, Magen Avraham says like this. Here we see how the Alter Rebbe learns. How the Rebbe learns a word of the Alter Rebbe and a word of the Magen Avraham. Every word is meduyak. The Lashon of the Magen Avraham is Miyad bebei Sivan Omer leMoshe lekacham b'Torah. Right away, Chodesh was Monday, and right away the next day, which was the 2nd day of Sivan, Moshe was being mekadesh them to Torah. Because the Alter Rebbe writes, it's a different Lashon. He started getting involved with them with Kabbalah Satorah. Here he says he started to get involved, and the Magen Avraham says to make him holy to Torah. The Alter Rebbe says Kabbalah Satorah, receiving the Torah. So superficially, if someone learns it, good, it's a change of words. The Rebbe is not like that. Medayek. That by the change that the Alter Rebbe made, he's trying to describe what is actually the concept of these days. The Hagdorim is how do you classify these days? What is the concept of these days? You could explain what is the specialty of these days in many ways. And the Rebbe says, I'm going to tell you 2 of them. And the Alter Rebbe will tell us which of the 2 is right, or at least the way he holds. Number 1, you could say like this. Why are these days before Matan Torah, before Shavuos special? Because they're days close to Matan Torah. It says another place, it comes to every Erev Shabbos and Erev Yontif. Erev Shabbos has already a little bit, a miniature, a ma'ain of what Shabbos is. And these days also. So here, as we say, not the day before, but a few days before. But it's only they don't have anything special on their own. Like Friday, anything special on Friday? The only specialty is because Friday is before Shabbos, so it's already like a beginning of Shabbos. Here too. And then the Rebbe goes breaks it down even to more. In this that we say that Erev Shabbos is a Me'ain of Shabbos, you could explain that itself in 2 ways. Break it down very. Is the reason why Erev Shabbos is special because of the person. Because the person, in order for him to be able to keep Shabbos or Yontif properly, so you need a hachana, you need to prepare. That's what the day that you're preparing for Shabbos, or the day you're preparing for Yontif, already has a shaychus to Shabbos and Yontif. That's one way to learn. The next way will be all part of the first way. The first way is that it's all because it's before Shabbos or before Yom. That gufa, you could say one is because it's a time when he has to prepare. Could be not because it's the person has to prepare. It's Shabbos v'yontif itself spreads itself a little bit before. Shebe'erev Shabbos ve'erev yontif yesh bei mitzad atzmei. The erev Shabbos yontif has itself mitzad hayeseh azman asomach. Since it's close to Shabbos, it already has me'ein kedusha Shabbos v'yontif, a little bit of the holiness of Shabbos and yontif. Now, since it's a day close to Shabbos, and it gets a little bit of Gusha Shabbos, that's the reason why the person should prepare himself on that day. You get special halachas, how to prepare. But both of these ways are two parts, two ways within the first. The first way is, it's not because the day itself has anything special, because it's before Shabbos and Yom Tov. Now that itself, you can say, before Shabbos and Yom Tov, so you want you to prepare, that's why it's special. Or Shabbos Kedusha spreads to before, and that's the reason why that's the day to prepare. So in other words, we have to think of Erev Shabbos and Erev Yom Tov. Same thing with the days before Shavuos, but not exactly the same. There it's only the day before Shabbos. From midday of Friday, of Erev Shabbos, we don't see Tachanun. But that's only from afternoon, from Chtzos of Friday. But it's all because it's close to Shabbos, so this is very close to Shabbos. And Bam is the whole day of Friday. Nikra is called Erev Shabbos or Erev Yom Tov. And that's why there is an opinion that even in the morning by Shachris, Erev Yom Tov, we don't say. But it's all why? Because it's Shabbos, it's a close to Shabbos. But how far does that closeness have an effect on the day before? Some things at afternoon, some things in the morning. But by Shavuos, the time of Matan Torah, so the hashpoah of the day of Matan Torah, leirag be'erev Yom Tov, it is not only for the day before Yom Tov, all the way from Rosh Chodesh. What's Rosh Chodesh? Because the Yidden already came on Rosh Chodesh to Har Sinai. Vayicham Sham Yisrael, Neged the Horn, it was by the mountain. They were already ready for Matan Torah. So therefore, the concept of Matan Torah from Shavuos spreads itself to before, but not only to a day before, but a few days before. But that's one way to look at what is the specialty of the days before Shavuos. The second way, Beis, because B'yomim Elum Yesh Behem it's an Atzman Teichem Begeder Miyuchet. No, the days themselves have something special on their own. Shall you make Kabbalas HaTorah? They are days considered days of receiving the Torah. And that's why they're special days. Not because they're close to Shavuos. They have their own thing. They are days of Kabbalah Satira. And he's going to explain it in other words, which will make it clearer. By Matan Torah, there are two things. Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, that's from Hashem's side. And then you have Kabbalah Satira, the receiving of the Torah, and that is Mitzad B'nai Yisrael, that comes from the Yidden side. And they're two separate things. There's the Naisen and the Makabel. The Eibush is giving it, and the Yidden are accepting it. Even though the receiving of the Torah comes as a result of Matan, like a person receives a present. Because the guy gives it to him, he receives it. So the receiving of the Torah comes as a result of Hashem giving. And not only that, when do you have the Kabbalah, the receiving? After it's given to you. And here we're saying that the days before the Matan Torah, before Hashem gave it, is already the beginning of receiving the Torah. But deeper we could say, that Be'emes no. The fact that the Yidden were receiving the Torah started before Hashem gave it, and it's a separate inyan. That's the specialty of these days. You make Kabbalah Satira. They're days of receiving of the Torah. So that's what the Rebbe says you could learn the second way. It's because these are days where the Yidden received. Now, the Eibusha didn't give it yet. But when they did things to prepare themselves, that's the preparation of the receiving. It's not preparing the giver. The Eibusha doesn't need the Yidden. It's the Yidden preparing to receive. These days are days where the Yidden prepared to receive. Oh, so these are days of Kabbalah Satira. Now, he didn't give it yet, but it made it possible for the Eibusha to give it. This is the difference between the Mogen Avraham and the Alter Rebbe. Mogen Avraham stresses Omar leMoshe lekatchem l'Torah. What did Moshe do these days? He spoke to them to make him holy for Torah. What does that mean? Hainu shemeyim beis v'sivan elech hischel Moshe lehochen as bnei Yisrael the Torah shitol HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He made them prepare to Torah that the Eibusher was going to give him. So these are days connected. Since the Eibusher, you should be ready. The Eibusher will give you the Torah. You got to be ready that the Eibusher should give it to you. Ilad Marazok case of the Alter Rebbe writes different. He spoke to them about receiving the Torah. These days started Kabbalah Satira. According to Magen Avraham, it was a general thing. The Eibusher will give you the Torah. Get ready for it. So the days, what's the connection of the days? Because these are the days in connection to Matan Torah. That's like the first way. But according to the Alter Rebbe, no, these are the days that the Yidden, as if saying, the days the Yidden received the Torah before the Eibusher gave it. They made themselves ready to receive it. Therefore, the Magen Avraham just mentioned what's the specialty of these days? They're days of Hagbolah. Shleishes me'Hagbolah, days that the mountain was supposed to be Mugbal. But it doesn't explain what happened every day. Just saying that these are Shleishes me'Hagbolah already stresses. Yeah, these are days of Hagbolah of the mountain. The mountain was Matan Torah. So all the Magen Avraham wants to say these days are a preparation to Shavuos. They're connected to Shavuos. So he doesn't have to go into the details. Yimei Hagbolah means that Hagbolah is for Shavuos. It's for Matan Torah. Hashenken Advur Azoken, the Sfira Alter Rebbe holds Shemiyad Achar Rosh Chodesh Hem Yimei Kabbalah Satera. He says the days from Rosh Chodesh, starting after Rosh Chodesh, are days when the Yidden were basically in a matzav of receiving it. If it's things that they had to do, not just be ready for what's going to happen later, things that they did to receive it, every day they did different things to receive it. The Tuesday, which was base Sivan, the day after the Chodesh, what was their way of preparing them, not preparing to Matan Torah, of what did they do to themselves? They heard the Eibusher say that they are a special nation, and that's what they were doing. Yom Revi on Wednesday, the mitzvah. What did they do to receive the Torah on Wednesday? That was the Eibusher made the Hagbolah to the mountain. But Yom Chamishi, Kabbalah the mitzvah prisha. On Thursday, it was because they separated from their wives. Claimer, what it means is every day there was something new that they received. That they received from Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu also every day did other things in Kabbalah Satera. It wasn't, Matan Torah was not there yet. Matan Torah was came when the Eibusher came down on Vav Sivan, on Shavuos. This is all Kabbalah Satera. That's what the Alter Rebbe learned. And Kabbalah Satera, so every day they did different things. While if you're saying it's just a preparation to Shavuos, so just say that these days are before Shavuos. These days are things that the Eibusher said, the Gabe Matan Torah. That's the difference. Now, the Rebbe adds, the Shleishes in Yonim Elu, Shebe Kabbalah Satera. The Rebbe says now, so we have three things that happened by the Yidden from their side, from Kabbalah Satera. What happened on Beis, which is Tuesday, what happened on Gimel, which is Wednesday, what happened on Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then actually on Friday also. Yeah, Friday. But there were three things that happened here. What are the three things? Nasa Mamlechas Keyanim. Beis even the Eibusher said you will become a nation, a kingdom of Keyanim. Then there was the Hagbolah, the Hazhiris Malalas Bahar. Then the next day when he said, don't go up to the mountain, that's Hagbolah. And then the next 2 days, Haprishim and Sheisayim, that they had to separate from their wives. But the Rebbe wants to say, Heim Keneget Shleisha in Yonim, to Gemosam Sheyeshna Matan Torah. These are three things which we have parallel in Matan Torah. In other words, we said before there is Matan Torah and there's Kabbalah Satera. By Matan Torah, the Rebbe is going to explain there are three things that happened. So when the Eden were doing things on their side, which is Kabbalah Satera, and they did that even before Hashem gave the Torah. So these three things that happened in those 4 days, three things happened, which was part of what the Eden did, is parallel to the three things that happened on Shavuos by Matan Torah. Explains how. In Yonah Matan Torah, what's the Pasha in the Matan Torah? How would they describe Matan Torah? Yeridas Hashchina Lamata Gil Shchina. The Shchina came down. They wished to reveal the Shchina. Matoras Matan Torah. What's the purpose of Matan Torah? There is what Matan Torah is. What's the purpose of Matan Torah? Kedivre Rambam, like the Rambam says, Kol HaTorah nitna lasa sholem be'olam. The Rambam says in Hilchos Chanukah that the whole Torah was given to make peace in the world. Now, if you learn without Chassidus and without the Rebbe Siches, you will learn very simple pshat, which is very strange. What does it mean? The whole Torah was given to bring peace to the world, because people argue, a lot of people argue, they have to discuss, they have disputes, and this. If you have Torah, you'll make shalom. A little bit strange. The whole Torah was given that if Chaim Yankel and Baruch are having a fight, we should be able to make shalom between them. But that's how you learn. But Kvanes Baiber Makemacha, the Rebbe says, I said in other places, Shasholem benas Hanasa Beilam Adei Atera, the shalom that we're saying that happened in the world for Torah, ain't a rak shalom ben abriyas. It's true, Torah brings shalom to people. The Chomar shalom brings shalom. But that's not what it really is. That's not only that. Ela shalom hashalom ben elakuske v'yochel v'elo. The Torah makes shalom between the Eibishter and the world. The world fights the Eibishter. The mere fact that there is a Elov is Lashon Helem. It's a concealment of a lakus. The world, if you look at the world on its own, the world says there is no lakus. The world doesn't say there's Eibishter. You got to think about it and come to a realization. The world fights the Eibishter. Through Torah, you make shalom between the Eibishter and the world, which means you're megala lakus in the world. But not stam gilei lakus by Matan Torah. You bring the whole world to have gilei lakus. K'maymer Chazal say sheYisrael nikroim shulamis. There's a pasuk shuvia shulamis. Goes on Yidden. Why Yidden called shulamis? Al Shem she'osas hasholem bein bein alami. The Eibishter says that they made shalom. Shulam is from the word shalom between me and the world. Al yidei kabbalosam es haTorah. By them receiving the Torah. So this is to make shalom between the Eibishter and the world. When you make shalom, even between two people, the same thing will apply in this type of shalom. When you make shalom between the Eibishter and Yidden, two things. One is shlilas hamachleikes. When do you make shalom? When there's a fight, when there's a machlekes, argument. If you make shalom, you take away the argument. That's the taking away. And you combine two people before they were arguing. You make them not argue anymore. Plus, you do the positive thing. You combine them. So the same thing we apply that the shalom between the Eibishter and the world. You also have these two things. Shenasa, what happens? It happens through Aleph, number one, shlilas hanyonim hamnagnim lelakus. To make shalom between the Eibishter and the world, there are certain things in the world which is against the lakus. So you got to get rid of that. You make sure that that's not there. Shebechlolas, how do you do that generally? Al de mitzvahs leisase. If you don't do something that you're not allowed to do, negative mitzvahs, because doing a negative mitzvah is like doing something against the Eibishter. By not doing it, what happens? You're not allowing the fight. You're not allowing the hisnagdus against the Eibishter. And the second thing, you have asiyas dvorim kerotzen habere, the positive. The high mitzvah says you do good things as the Eibishter wants. Just like over there. You combine the two people. Here also, you bring the world closer to the Eibishter. So first of all, you take away the world should be a menagit against the Eibishter, which the world is on its own. But that is by holding yourself back from doing anything wrong. And then you bring the world in a positive way closer to the Eibishter. That's asaytei mitzvah says. So we have three things here. We have Gilui Elokus, when the Shechina came down, just at that moment the Shechina came down, that's Matan Torah. And then what it caused is that we should be able to do mitzvah sesa, mitzvah slice, which is to come to the goal of what the Torah, why the Eibishter gave us the Torah, which in simple words, if it used the Archsidische words, it would be a dira b'tachtonim. But the dira b'tachtonim has two parts. It's always given a moshel from a melech. When you want, what's a dira b'tachtonim? You want to make the Eibishter have a dira, a dwelling place. You want him to come down to live. When you want to bring a king in your house to live or to stay for a visit, what do? Well, obviously, you'll prepare the house. So it says in Chassidus, the first thing you'll do, you'll clean the house. Any dirt, anything that's not nice and anything, you'll take away. Then you put in nice furniture, you put in paintings, you put in other things. Same thing with the Welt. You want to make for the Eibishter a dira in Welt, so you got to do it through taking away the bad. That's like cleaning up, getting rid of the dirt, and then bringing kedusha, bringing good, connecting the world to the Eibishter through asaytei, which is mitzvah sesa. So these are the three things of Matan Torah. So then you have the same parallel, same three things in Kabbalah Satayr, in the receiving end, which is the Yidden. This is what the Eibishter did when he gave us the Torah. He made these three things happen. That the Shechina came down and he gave us the power of getting rid of the He snagged us on the lakus, and he gave us the power of bringing the lakus. Now we're talking about the same three things you have on the eat side. We said that before Matan Torah, those 4 days was the Inyan Adidin were receiving it. That means they were doing things in themselves to receive it. You also have the same three. How is it? So let's see, what were the 3 things we said? The Eibusha said you should be Mamlechas Kayanim, the Hagbola of the mountain, and the Prisha. Stay separate from the wives. So he explains it. What is the real meaning of the mitzvah of Hagbola? To separate, to surround the mountain and be magbilit. Means layli is what it's really saying is that you should not be completely separated from the world and have place on nefesh al derech nodav avir, like nodav avir shebekarvosim lifnei Hashem vayemusu, that they got close to the Eibush and they died. And Chassidus says, and the Rebbe brings it in the Sichas, and it comes from Teira Chaim, that what means they died? They had such a longing to the Eibush. They had their aliyah to the Eibush, went away from the world, and they got so carried away with being away from the world and being connected to Lukus, till they left the world completely. They died. That's why the Karvosim Lifnei Hashem, when they got so close, that's how they died. Hakbolah shows that that's not the point, and we'll see how. The purpose of the Torah is not to be away from the world. Like I said, Hashem didn't create the world for be empty. To inhabit it, meaning you should make the world, be in the world, not go away from the world. Be in the world and make the world. The world should fit to what the Torah wants, which is a dira in the low parts. We should make a dira. That's the pnimis dikepshat of Hishomru lechem aleis ba'or. What did he mean when he said be magbil the mountain? For what purpose did he want to be magbil the mountain? Surround the mountain. No one should go up on the mountain. What would it mean going up on the mountain? Going up at the mountain would mean going away from the world. The mountain represented the lukus, and go up, go away from the world. So they Hishomru lechem, be magbil the mountain and be careful from don't go up. You have to do down here. You have to make the world, the world should be like the Torah wants, which is al derech mitzvah sese. So here we see one thing, that one of the 3 things that happened in the days before Shavuos, before Matan Torah, fits to one of the 3 things by Matan Torah. Matan Torah, one of the things was, the Eibishter gave a kayach then that we should be able to make the world connect to Elkus. That's the union of Hagbolah, saying don't go up on the mountain. The mountain is complete. You have to stay down here. And we'll give you the Torah to do the Torah down here. So they were doing things like Kabbalah Satira, knowing that this is the purpose to stay down here, not to go up. Le'iduch, on the other hand, since we're telling you should get involved in worldly matters, not to go away and do separate, isolate yourself. I remember once that I've used the Lashon, Kavan is not to isolate yourself. Avdem hadrei b'shte malachim genug. Plenty malachim who are not part of the world. He wants us to bring a lukus, the world connect to lukus. But on the other hand, since we're telling you, Hagbolah, don't go up to the mountain. Be in the world, you have to be very careful. Shaleli is shakua binyon ha'elam, not to get sunk, absorbed in the weltische things. Shenyon ha'elam le'yaridu eisei. You have to bring the world too close to Hashem. You get too much involved, it could lower you. Not only you don't bring the world closer, you go further away. That's prisha. Stay away from your wives. It means we should stay away to a certain degree from gashmias. That's a mitzvah. What you shouldn't do. So here you have 2 things. You have to do, but you have to be careful that there are certain things you can do. You have to bring the world closer to Hashem, but there are certain things you got to stay away. And these are the 2 things, like by Matan Torah, when there was mitzvah sese and mitzvah sleisese. And what was the akdama to these 2 things that happened by Kabbalah Satira, not by Matan, but Kabbalah Satira, which were the 2 things were mitzvahs Hagbolah, mitzvahs Prisha. What did Moshe Rabbeinu tell him the day before? So first Moshe told him on the second day of Sivan, you will be to me a kingdom of Kohanim. What is he saying here? It's not telling him to do something. See, the other days he told him, be magbal the mountain, don't go up, separate from your wives, tell him what to do. Here he's just telling him a fact. Tiyur HaMetzias, he's describing the fact. Shebnei Yisrael, Nasu, Mamlechas Kohanim, the Yidden became a nation of Malchus of Kohanim, the Dugmas Kohanim. All the Yidden are like Kohanim, HaMeshorsim, that serve the Eibishter. What's a Kayan? Actually, the taich of the word Kayan is Meshoris. And Meshoris to God, service to God, servant. But Adle Dargas Kayan Godel, when he said you'll become a Melechas Kayan, he meant not Stam Kayanim. You'll be in the level of a Kayan Godel, Kedis of a Balaturim. Balaturim says that it meant a Kayan Godel. So what does that mean? By just like by the Eibishter gave the Torah. What made the two things that the Eibishter gave, the mitzvah to make the world closer to Hashem and to not stop the isnagdas, the fight of the world with Hashem? It all came because of the first thing. What is the first thing? First thing, the Shekhinah came down. So here also, when we say that even by the Kabbalah, they had these two things to stay away from, not to go up the mountain, to be in the world, and also to not get sunk into the world. So before that, what was the Akdama? That you're a Mamlechas Kenim. It's a fact. Just like what happened by Matan Torah, the Eibishter side. The Eibishter came down, not telling him what to do. There was Gilei Ashchina. And from that came, because there was Gilei Ashchina, came those two things that you could separate, you could take away the isnagdas of the world, and you could bring the world closer to the Here also, there was this Akdama, the fact. The fact is that you are Mamlechas Kehanim. And if you're Mamlechas Kehanim, you're very great. And therefore, the Eden felt that the Eibishter is making, we're so great. So we have the Kayach of Hagbola and the Kayach of Rishon, the two sides, not to go up, away from the world, and not to get sunk too much in the world. Here, then the Rebbe continues. Since we just said, how did Moshe Rabbeinu start with the Yidden concerning Kabbalah Satera? He told him, now you have to work on yourself to receive the Torah. So he started it, we said, by giving the statement that you will be a Mamlechas Kehanim and Gei Kodesh. So since this is the beginning, it makes sense that all of these three things that we said before, they're all hinted in this. Till now we said that the Atam Tiyul, when the Eibishter said Atam Tiyul Melechas Kehanim, is an introduction to other two things. The three separate things, the introduction and then the two. And now the Rebbe says, since this is an introduction, so this has the yesod for everything. So you will find a hint for the other two things also in this one word. Even though this is one of the three, really the other one is also merumas. Okay, we know that in the beginning of something, so everything that's going to happen, everything that's further, is hinted. The Rebbe sometimes brings not a pshat, but a word to it. He says, as we see, the concept of Rosh Tevis. Rosh Tevis is abbreviation. So what do? You write 4 letters. Each one is the first letter of a different word. Why is it? So we think Stam it's much easier, like in English, it's easier, make abbreviation, it's shorter. No, because it's true. If you want to write a word, the first letter represents the whole word. So if you write 3 letters of 3 different words, you actually, as if you wrote the 3 words. So we see from there that the beginning, it contains the whole thing. So here also, the first words that the Eibishter said, contains everything. Bohenia was the pshat. So how do we find in the words Va'atem Tiyu li Mamlechas Kehanim all 3 things? The other 2 things also. The fact that you could not separate from the world, Hagbola, which is don't go up, and also stay away from the world. Because Va'atem Tiyu li Hainu Shebnei Yisrael Nase Kinyon Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Vad. When David said, you will be to me, a Mamlechas Kehanim, what he meant to say, you are mine now. That's first thing. Va'atem Tiyu li. I owe you now. Own you now. You are my kinyan. But Mechilta actually says on this, I'm not going to make anybody else rule on you, just me. I'm your ruler. You are mine. That's the first words. Then it says, then it comes 2 more things. Because the lotion of the pasuk is, you will be to me a mamleches kehanim, a malchus, a kingdom of kehanim, and a holy nation. So the Rebbe wants to say that the first word, Va'atem Tiyuli, is going to fit to what he said the first thing, and the other 2, Mamlechas Kehanim and Gei Kodesh, are the other 2 things. Kehanim, what does Kehanim mean? Kehanim are people, Shem Prushim in Yon Ha'elo. Kehanim are separated from the worldly matters. V'loshna Rambam, the Rambam says that what's in Yon of a Kehanim? The Rambam actually says any Yid who wants to become, he could be like a Kehan, like Shevet Levi. But he says that, what does that mean? Lihibodel, to separate. Lamed lifnei Hashem, to stand in front of Hashem. L'shorsei, to serve Him. and to worship him. So that's being away from the world and going closer to the Eibishter. What does that fit? For mitzvahs prisha. That's like the prisha we said. Prisha means stay away from your wife, stay away from the world. So that's hinted in the word, you will be mamlechas kain, you'll be like Kayanim. Then he said, you'll be like Gai Kodesh, a holy nation. Meira lakdusha shebnei Yisrael mamshichi b'dvarim gashmiyim. A holy nation means a nation in this world, that in the world you will be holy. Al derech pirish admur azokim, like the Alter Rebbe teaches in the word Gai echad ba'aretz, they say Atech Hashem, but and the Yidden are Gai echad ba'aretz, they're one nation in the world. So the Alter Rebbe teaches, what does that mean? Shebnei Yisrael mamshichim havaya echad gam binyon marzim. Gai, it's a nation that echad ba'aretz, that brings echad, Hashem echad into the world. So when we say that you will be a Gai Kodesh, that means that you will be a holy nation, meaning, like it says over there, that you will be people that will bring Kedusha into the world. That is parallel to the mitzvah of Akbola. What's the union of Akbola? Don't go up. Stay down here. What should we not to go up? Don't go up. That's what it is. But bring Kedusha into Gashmias, into the things of the world. So here we have like this. Va'atem tiyuli is the first thing. You are mine. That's the yesod. That's the fact. It's not an aveda. That's the fact. And then he teaches, Malechas Kainim is the aveda of being separated from the world, and Gai Kodesh is bring into the world. So the three things that we said happened by Matan Torah. The Shechina came down, and he gave the koyach of mitzvah sesa, mitzvah leisesa. And the same three things that we said before by Kabbalah Satira, by the Yidden. First, the fact that the Yidden are Mamlechas Kainim Gai Kodesh as a fact. And then we have that the Yidden should stay away from the mountain, meaning stay in the world. And the other thing is go away from the world. The same three we have hinted in the words, in these words, Gufa. It says that these days are remembered and done, which means that every year when you remember these days, the same thing that happened the first time is redone again. As a movement, so for that we understand, Gam in the Gale is Matan Torah concerning Matan Torah every year. Yes, every year we get the Eibishter gives us a Torah new again. Even every year higher than the year before. So we understand that in order that on Shavuos to receive the Torah, because the Eibishter gives it on Shavuos, so you have to start just like then. There were a few days before that they had to prepare themselves for Kabbalah Satira themselves. So we have to do it now also from Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Similar to the way it was the first time in Matan Torah, which we said that they prepared themselves before. V'hainu, it means like this. First of all, Bichlal, we know whenever we want to prepare ourselves to something, the preparation is done with things which are similar to what I'm preparing myself for. I always give this example. If you want to prepare yourself to appreciate a concert, a music concert, you'll study music. If you want to prepare yourself to appreciate art exhibition, you'll study art. So therefore, by Matan Torah also, if you want to prepare the Matan Torah, it has to be doing something similar to what you're preparing for. What is that? In our case means, you have to add to learning, you have to learn more Torah. So that's the first thing. That's obviously you have to learn more Torah because you're preparing to Torah. It's not like this is just a joke, but once one of the Shivas came over to Abocha, it was a few days before Matan Torah, for Shavuos, and the guy wasn't learning so well. So the Shiva tells the Bocher, how can you not learning? After all, it's close to Matan Torah. Matan Torah is the day, the Chasana of the Eibishter and Yidden. So versteht sich, you have to learn. Why aren't you learning the Torah? Yidden get married to the Torah, and the Torah gets married with Yidden. So he says, you don't understand. The meaning is that a week before the Chasana and Kala don't see each other. Well, the Mele, since it's before a Chasana with the Torah, I don't look at the Torah don't learn Torah. But here it says the opposite, that you have to add learning Torah. But besides this, we have to also do the individual achonas that we said before. The three things that we said before happened then in the days before Matan Torah has to happen now too. Simply understood. Pelim and Nimshochem Gamata, since the Giluyim that happened these days come now to, not only it happened once 3,500 years ago, it happens now too. No, he wants, I said it wrong. He wants to show that it applies now too, because of these things that happened then, because of then, those things that happened then, these days, we don't fast now. We don't say tachnon. What's the game? Because it happened then is araya that it's not because it happened then. It's because it's happening now. Otherwise, why would we not say tachnon now? Because something happened 3,500 years ago. Asim, these things are happening now. Well, if he says, according to that, so therefore, Beis Siva is the day that the Eibusha said you will be a Amlechas Kenim in a holy nation, the special day. You have to be like Kayanim, but that's what they did then. That's what the Eibusha said. And the Rambam says, Kayanim is separated to stand in front of Hashem, serve Hashem, to know Hashem. The Rambam says the Kayanim are Kedesh Kedoshim. They became holy, which is like Kedesh Kedosh, holy of holy. He said it as a Chukazu, and this is Seiris, and this desire that we're supposed to have on Beis Sivan, so much. You have to so much want to get close to Hashem these days, so much so that you need a special warning, don't go too much. You want to go so much and learn so much and get so involved, so we tell you, stop. You have to have Akbola, don't go up in the mountain. Because if you're going to get involved in realizing that you could be a Mamlechas Kehanim, that brings a desire to want to know Hashem. And to go deeper, further into the Kedusha. Lichones bepardes, says like the four people that went into the Pardes means they went into all the deeper inyonim in the Lakus. And what happened to them? They didn't come out. Only one of the four came out, Rabbi. Rabbi was Michnas B'Sholem V'Yotze B'Sholem. He went in peacefully and came out. But the other three, Ben Zaymen, Ben Azai, and Acher, Elisha Ben Avua, one of them died, one of them went Meshugya, one of them went off the derech, because they went too much, they went crazy, they made them Meshugya. So a person might think when you're starting to get close to Matan Torah and you're going to be Amlechas Kenim, so we warn you, no, don't go there. Va'efu shakleis hanefesh and the neshama should leave. The Eifen nichnas b'sholom v'yotze b'sholom. You have to go in peace and come out in peace. And the Rebbe quotes in Hora 51, look with the Sichas Chele Gimel. There he explains. I explained it, we learned it in the Sichas many times. That l'chura, why does it say that Akiva went in peace and came out in peace? They all went in peace. They all went in fine. They were all tzaddikim when they went in. Problem was how they came out. So the question is, why does it mention Rabbi Akiva went in peace? Should have said Rabbi Akiva came out in peace. The answer is that why did he come out in peace? Because he went in differently. He went in lechatchila knowing that this is going there, but when it came to a point, no return, he knew that lechatchila he has to come down. And they didn't have that. So we have to, when we learn and start from Beis Sivan, the Rebbe says we have to not go so high, knowing that the kavanah is not to go up and stay on the mountain. And because we're saying that you have to not go on the mountain, don't get so high in Alakus, then it comes the other opposite mitzvah, the mitzvah separation. But even though there is a way to get involved in the world, that should stop you from having your desire and your neshama should leave you. And should dafke do the shuv, not the rotzei, but the shuv. That you should get involved in the worldly matters. So there are ways. We just said before that there is a way to make sure that when you go into these high inyonim, you shouldn't stay there, but you should come down. Okay, Sipura you do it like there's a story when the Admur Azokn about Malach. Malach is the Magid's son. He's known as the Malach. There's a story when they were learning Chassidus, they reached the level that Mamish of Alakusa, their neshama was going to leave their body. The Alter Rebbe needed to eat a bagel with butter. Neshama shouldn't leave him. So there are eitzes, the Rebbe says, to make sure that when you go into these high inyonim that have the desire to lakus, you shouldn't stay, that you come back. But in the case that we're talking about here, it says clearly there's a way. The way to do it is to have prisha, separation. Behind the gam inyonim hamotorim, even things that you're allowed to do. But if you don't have to do it, Stay away from it. And we're talking here by staying away from the wife, which is a thing that from time to it's gashmis, but from time to time it's even a mitzvah. So we have to stay away. By close to Matan Torah, have to stay away from everything that shaykhs to the goof. You have to be completely about Matan Torah. So normally you have to go up and have a way to not go, stay down here because the Iker is here. Before Shavuos, there's even more. You got to have actually the mitzvah of Prisha to stay away more from Gashmias and not get sunk into the Gashmi. Just like we're saying this concerning the Aveda with yourself, same thing has to do when you work with your friend. Yeser says, and even stronger, why it's better even more with your friend? Because the beginning of Achona started not Beis. Really, it started with Chedesh. Because that's the day they got to Har Sinai. They came to the mountain and Chazal say, they were all like one. Oh, so what's the first Achona to Matan Torah? Avos Yisrael, Achdus. The Mele we see from here that Achdus, which means caring about somebody else, is very important. Therefore, when you prepare yourself to Matan Torah every year, you can't be satisfied that everyone will prepare himself to Matan Torah. You have to pay on the Yidden around you. They should also prepare themselves properly to Matan Torah. Like it says in Shulchan Aruch. When you do that, so all the Yidden, like one person with one heart, will receive the Torah by Matan, the day of Matan Torah. The Simcha will be Pnimius, with the joy and in the Pnimius. That's the way the Rebbe says. The Friedrich Rebbe would always wish connection to Shavuos, and the Rebbe also would always, in connection to Shavuos, would always wish the bracha to Makabel the Torah, Simcha, the Pnimius.
Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shkoyach.
So for both.